So welcome everybody to our last Women Painters Bus meeting of our fiscal year, June. And it's an exciting day because our new board is going to be installed and our new members are going to be welcomed and installed. And so it's really exciting. And then we're also going to be able to see some of the works of our new members and hear a couple of statements from each of them. Before we do get started, though, I just want to remind you guys that Waves of Creativity is now up. The prospectus is up for the North Coast Art Gallery in Carlsbad. That show will be this early September through, I think, October. And Zoni, I know you're trying to say something, but you're muted. So go onto the website and you'll be able to make your application through online juried shows. So I just want to announce the new board first. And the president, and Zoni, if there are any corrections to this, just let me know if it's incorrect or not.
Yeah, I sent the latest this morning.
Yeah, I think I
And then
have.
maybe there's one more that Jenny got just before the meeting. So exciting.
Okay, so Jenny Bate is going to be our president, which is very
Yay!
exciting. Yay, Jenny. And the co-presidents are going to be Peggy Charbonneau and Alex Levan. They're going to be working with her, which is wonderful. Peggy is a very long-time member of Women Painters West. Alex is very involved with Women Painters West. She's a relatively new member, but has been working on the newsletter for the last couple of years, so 3 years, I think. So that's been great. Exhibitions, Diane Carpal is in charge of that, and her committee is Ellen Glick and Ellen Levine. And then they're going to also have a venue search support group, which is going to be Elizabeth Garcia. Thank you. I think I saw you online in a little bit. And Zoni Gordon. Annie Clavel, also a very long time member and who is French. So if anyone speaks French, she's great to speak with. She's going to be working on getting our programs, and she's going to be working with Kenshin Miller. Joan Barrell is going to be our secretary. Toby Salkin will be our corresponding secretary. So the difference between secretary and corresponding is that Joan will be taking the minutes of our board meetings, and you all are always welcome to come to our board meetings. And Toby will be sending out like any notes that need to go out to different members. Irene Zaragoza is our treasurer. She's been doing an outstanding job for the last 3 years and is continuing. Carol Kay is going to continue as our membership chair with Jean Eiler moving into her co-chair position. Jean and Idel had been working for the last several years on
10 years, I think.
Yeah, on our
special
events and things like that. And I always think of them as like camp counselors. They've been amazing, but Jean is now going to work with the membership committee. So Carol's got a great partner in that, and Jean's got a great partner in Carol. Dallas Frank is our parliamentarian. Special events, philanthropy is Andrea Moore and Gloria Cassidy, I believe. And communications is Suzanne Edmondson, who has a lot of experience with making sure that programs get into different magazines and visual art stores. Melissa Elliott is our historian, and Kelly Stoiting, am I pronouncing that right? Stolting? She is going to be our volunteer coordinator beginning in January. Arlene Weinstock will continue working with the website and directory. And MailChimp. She is our tech guru and genius. She's also the one that makes sure that our YouTube channel is up and running. So she has a huge job. Nancy Lawrence does scholarship. I will be working with Alex Levan on the newsletter and will be emeritus as president. Annie will also be working on Instagram, and Arlene will also be working on the book club. So that is our incoming board. So thank you all so much for helping with that. And Jenny, go ahead.
Yeah, there was one that got missed. Is that I think that just slipped through the cracks. Carol Garland has also agreed to assist with scout and exhibition venues.
Oh, that's fantastic. What's her name? Carol what?
Garland.
Oh, Carol Garland. That's fantastic.
I thought she was just going to give ideas.
Oh, I don't know. You talked to her, so she might give off.
Yeah, she'll just give ideas, but not confirmed, unable to
Okay.
at this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Elizabeth,
Yes, Andrea.
my last name's Monroe.
What did I
Not
say?
More.
Oh,
Just in
I'm so
case you have a
sorry.
type.
I know it's Monroe. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Just, I thought
Yeah,
maybe you had
but
a
I'm glad
type.
you clarified it. Thank you. Right. Okay. Anyone else? I'm on page 1, so let me move to page 2 and see if anyone else. Okay, cool. No one. All right, great. So now is the exciting time where we get to meet our new members. Before we introduce them, we will, or in addition to introducing them, we will have a new member lunch in, I believe it's in September. That's going to be at Ellen Glick's home in the Valley. It's most centrally located, and where we will be able to meet the new members. That's for the board to meet the new members and for the new members to meet the working board. So that should be really fun. It's a really nice lunch, and Ellen's been wonderful to be hosting it for the last several years. It's been really lovely. So I am going to turn this over to Rhonda, and I'm going to share my screen so that you guys can see. Hold on one second. Where did you all go? Hold on one second. I've got to go back to where I was. Hang on. Normally this is so simple. Rhonda, I had this all up for you, and now I don't have it up. So give me one sec, you guys. Rhonda, huh?
I said, no problem.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me stop the share though. All right, give me a second. I've got to find it.
$37. Wow.
Got it. Okay, here we go.
Let me just close that.
All right, cool. So we
Wow.
are going to start with Carol Steinberg. So Rhonda, you've got the floor.
Thank you. First off, welcome everyone. I'm very, I think we are all very, very happy to have you here. So Carol Steinberg, are you here?
And I did not want to be first. Oh my God.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
Beautiful, Carol.
It's
Wow.
the way
Why
it
am
is.
I first? I mean, my last name starts with an S.
I know. You thought you.
I got to be first. I was first the first time that I on my introduction as well. So I'm with you, girl.
Thank you. I just, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say.
Elevator speech. Your elevator speech is fine.
Just tell
Yeah,
us.
Carol, I'm an artist.
Cares, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, what elevator speech.
Just tell us a touch about your work and a little bit about your history. That's all.
All right, let's see.
5 sentences.
Okay,
That's
so I
4 to 5.
started painting when I was 8 years old. I mean, with oils. And I eventually got a BFA, and then I got an MFA. I grew up in New York City. I came out to Cal Arts to get my MFA. They were very discouraging about painting as a viable thing to do in those days, but I did it anyway. And if they could see my still lifes now, I feel like they would definitely have made sure I didn't get a degree. But I did all the
No.
no, I mean, I did computer stuff
Beautiful.
and installation, and I did a lot of very personal family paintings about my crazy family and videos and audio. I mean, I did all these. I was very young. Anyway, and then I don't know, over time, I just wanted to paint better. That's basically been, but whatever that means, which I'm not completely sure, but I keep trying. And yeah, it's like a lifelong pursuit. I don't know. Yeah, that's.
Well,
Yeah.
your work is strong and color and your use of color is beautiful and your line.
Thank you.
So we are lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. Maybe after everyone else goes, I can see if there's anything I want to add, but thank you.
No,
thank
that's
you. I
great.
I appreciate the warm welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Carol Garland is not here, correct?
I don't
Okay,
think so. I
yeah,
didn't see her. Yeah.
Yeah, she sent me something and I couldn't see everybody here. So I'll read this that she sent in. Figure drawing was my first love. At 17, I studied figure drawing at the Art Institute of Chicago, and I thought I would be painting figures for the rest of my life. I got sidetracked by landscape and urbanscape painting, but I'm back. So the first one she has here, in Children in the Park, did I mention I'm a grandmother? I am exploring the group of figures as one entity, a resurfacing theme, definitely obfuscating unnecessary details and uniting the group with color. I chose to focus less on exacting strokes and tight control and rely on unconscious surprises. Number 2, I like to paint the figures on the beach because of the inhibitions are relaxed as carefree men and women sprawl on their beach towels and bask in the noonday sun. In Summer in the City, I contrast intimacy and indifference as beachgoers lay side by side in their half-clothed abandon, working, design, color, and paint. And then in the third one, she says here, I've recently discovered the joy and challenge of painting a vase of flowers in the studio, al prima or wet on wet with quick brush strokes, a little thinking or consideration. It's much like plein air painting on location without the changing light and bugs. Love the freshness and sense of freedom in petals. The Gerber daisies lend themselves to playing with abstraction and fanciful color.
Beautiful.
So that was hers.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
Elizabeth.
So basically, I again painted as a child, but then stopped for many years. Was doing different like acting in movies and writing children's books. And during the pandemic, I went back to my first passion, which is painting, and I use oil paints. And I guess a lot of my, when I was little and I painted, I would do like beautiful sunflowers, or I'd do a puppy dog, or I would set out to do something that I had a vision of. Now when I come to the studio, there's a painting, it's not one of these, but it was a girl lying on the grass, and it turns out it ends up looking like a war scene. It's called actually Effects of War. So I kind of let the canvas direct where I should go, and it's a whole different way of painting. And we'll see. So that's.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Nice,
Beautiful.
Elizabeth.
They
Yeah.
really are.
Beautiful.
Gina is not here either.
Yeah.
So this is Gina Leon Gutierrez. And she says, connection is not this fixed thing. It changes. I have connection to self, to other, to place, to home, to memory, to dream even. And just like that, connection shifts, ruptures, gently breaks, and there is something new. I'm curious about this, and I'm interested in memory and connection. This whole series is called Connecting the Dots. A series of 100 pieces began as a triptych that evolved into 60 or so interconnected pieces. I have a sense that it will be completed at 100. And she said that's the goal anyway. Some sections are housed in the Vancouver General Hospital in Canada. Some live on the walls of private collectors, and some pieces have been featured in exhibitions in both Vancouver and Los Angeles. When I started this project, I was intent on painting a narrative that said something about connection. I am interested in the delicate little fibers that bridge together people and things. Sometimes these are subtle and unspoken transitional moments in life somewhere between memory and self, memory and place, memory and people. In this series, connection and memory are abstracted and fragmented in moments, and other times they are discernible or concrete. Okay, so her first section here, she says it features Monty, my grandfather, playing a pretend patient to his great-grandson, Dr. Jacob. Monty was a very willing participant and play companion. He spent a great many summers visiting from South Africa alongside my grandmother, Muriel. Building connection to them over these summers was essential, and also connection to the country of my birth, South Africa. The backdrop of this memory, I'm sorry? Oh, the backdrop of this memory is an abstract fractured landscape of the Black Lives Matter movement. In the painting, it reads, "A riot is the language of the unheard." We see names inscribed of victims of police brutality. And I remember thinking about South Africa a lot at this time. We moved during apartheid, and it was a terrible moment in history. The next group, she says, there was a rose garden that I used to run to at the foot of our garden in Johannesburg, maybe to find myself, but often to chat with about things with the roses. I did this with our budgies, and a budgie flies past. Now, I had no idea what a budgie was. So
Parakeet.
It's a
Googled
parakeet.
It's what?
A parakeet.
Yeah, that's right. It's a parrot.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. Thank you. Anyway, she says that budgie flies past Wendy, and Wendy takes, I guess these are the people in here, takes care of all of us. She had her own babies at home. She was a mother to many. I was little, and so her legs were at my eye line. And strangely, that's what I remember. There is an angel in this group, my homage to Chagall, my favorite artist, an angel that is Monty and Muir hovering over my home, my Jewish roots. And then there is the repetitive green, for which I have a giant orcas swimming sometimes in the most likely and narrow spaces. So that's this second one. And then the third one. The next few panels capture this moment in time. A life with my partner, Christopher, my niece and her plight with ED, a more formidable foe, her eating disorder, movements, memories, connections, built and broken. So that was from Gina.
Oh, they're fabulous.
Yeah, they
Nice.
are.
That's a wonderful project.
Beautiful.
Very
Just beautiful.
inspiring.
Yes, they are. Judith,
Hi, Rhonda.
hi. I'm glad you decided to enter.
Beautiful, Judith.
There, you want to go ahead?
Thank you.
You want to talk about your work, Judith?
Sure. First of all, I was curious where Carol lived in New York, because I'm also from New York. So anytime somebody says that, you know, you have that whole conversation of where, but I guess we could talk about that when we meet. But my background is, I'm from New York, and I went to the High School of Music and Art when I was a kid, which is now LaGuardia High School. There were, at that time, it was music and art and performing arts, and music and art were visual artists and more like classical musicians. And performing arts was actors and kind of musicians that could also be like jazz or whatever. But now they're all together, and it also includes film. And I, like many, I didn't really pursue it, basically because I didn't understand what I'd be doing with it. I got into Pratt, and they sent me a really flattering letter, but I never even answered because I didn't have anybody to help, anybody at all, in all that time to help guide me in any way and say, you know, really you should continue, and, you know, this is what it would look like. So I've done other things for a very long time. My profession was and still is personal career and relationship counseling, basically for the film industry and creative thinkers like you and spiritual people. And in that context, I was a member of Women in Film because I wrote film. That's one of the things I did after painting. But like so many others, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, I'm going to get back to painting. I'm going to get back to painting. And at a certain point, after my husband and I wrote a couple of books, I thought, you know, I don't want to write one more thing. I really want to paint. And so about 7 years ago, I got back to it. All of these are landscapes, because I got back to painting by going to Emeritus College, and the only class that they had available was watercolor plein air, which I had never done, but I figured, well, I need to start, and even though I don't know watercolor, let me start. So that's how I got involved with watercolor. I also do acrylics, but mostly I do watercolor. The bridge is in acrylic, and the other two are watercolors. The first two were done from photographs. You know, I went there and looked and photographed in both of those. One was off, the water was off the pier in Venice Beach. And the other one, of course, is iconic Santa Monica. The last one I did was, you know, out air, in plein air. And after the pandemic, I just went out and painted. Those are, you know, tend to be freer than, you know, the ones from the photographs. And the direction I'm moving in is freer and freer. So the ones I've done more recently than those, you know, can be a little more abstract and, you know, have a lot more, you know, energy. What I'm interested is in, as an artist, is just in being present. It's very Zen. I just want to be there. I love the idea. I love watercolor because it's so present and fluid. Right now, I like it a lot better than acrylic, but I'm trying to get into acrylic to see if there's, you know, other things I could say or do. But the watercolor is great for, this is me, this is now, this is the exact minute, second, time I'm here. I'm intuitive. I don't do, in the acrylic, of course, I did, you know, a drawing of the bridge first before I painted it, but I don't draw before I paint. I do a very quick thumbnail, or not even that. I just take out my iPhone and take a few pictures and take a look at it and start. And my goal personally is just to keep growing and see where it goes, period. You know, I don't have any specific thing. I don't have an imagined end. Just like, you know, Carol, I think it was, I just want to keep, I wouldn't even say the word better. I would just say the word, just more present and using what I have more and more and more and seeing where it goes. I do want to say I am thrilled to be a member of this group. I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm so grateful you took me in to be amongst you. I was listening to what everybody was doing to create the group, all the different committees you have and all the richness and the giving that you put into this. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. I mean, I had no idea. I mean, even when I joined and I had met Rhonda, I had no idea at the level of professionalism and care and love you bring to this group. And wow, I hope I can bring, you know, something valuable to you, because I already feel like you're bringing extraordinary value to me. So thank you.
We'll get
Yeah.
you for a committee position next year.
There you go. Yes, we're thrilled to have you.
What have I done?
June Wiley.
Yes, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. My paintings represent my commitment to my creativity in this second half of my life as I'm moving towards retirement. I did not go to art school. This is an avocation for me. So it's something that, again, it's a commitment to my creativity, and it has so much meaning for me right now because I'm reading and learning so much about how art can support us. As many of you probably know, there's art therapists out there who do tremendous work to heal people emotionally. But for those of us who are aging, art and our commitment to learning and engaging in this process can be so important in terms of our positive aging and longevity. So this has been something that I have done sporadically throughout my life, because my career, I'm a professor in social work. I'm still working at USC. I'm hoping to retire in the next couple of years, but this is not something that I pursued as a main career. My paintings, again, have been an opportunity for me to express what I see and what I enjoy. And at times I wish that I had started this much earlier in my life. But, you know, no regrets, just looking forward to continuing and learning and growing. And as Judith indicated, I feel also very pleased and very fortunate to be a part of the group. So thank you so much.
Well,
Is that medium? Is that acrylic or
no, it's oil. I work in oil.
Ah, great.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
They are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Karen Bauman.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. But you can't, can you see me?
Yes.
I haven't
Yes, we
Zoomed
can.
since COVID, so
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Anyway, first of all, I want to thank you for accepting me into your group. I heard nothing but wonderful things through a friend, Claudia Kaczynski, and I don't think she's with us today on the Zoom. But anyway, thank you so much. My background is I started out, as far as my education, was graphic design and interior design. So I did graphic design for a few years, and then I just jumped right into interior design, opened up my own business in '88, and have been doing it ever since. But I am now in my next chapter of my life, and this year I've decided to at least try to retire. So I'm like 90% retired, which has allowed me to spend much more time with my painting. I mean, I've painted since I was a child. I don't remember not having a pencil in my hand growing up. I just have always loved art, every form of art. For years, I primarily focused on hyperrealism. And over time, and just more recently, within the last 3 years, I've tried to loosen up, and I am having so much fun just being, well, you can see what I'm doing here, and nothing's really defined except the tree. Obviously, that's a tree, but everything else I like to leave things up to the imagination. One of my favorite things to do is to stand behind someone that is in the gallery looking at my piece, and then they start talking about it. And like the ocean ones, is this a jetty? Oh, are those buildings? I think those are buildings. I mean, there's so many different conversations that go on, and it's just so fun to listen and have people make up their own story behind my pieces. So I just don't fret over details anymore. Once in a while, I'll have to do something that requires much more detail, but now I'm just, I feel really almost in a meditative state when I'm working on these pieces. So the first one, let's see, was the tree. I called it Alone just because he's kind of by himself and he's just chilling out in maybe the desert. There's a little bit going on in the background. I use a lot of gold leaf, or not a lot in this piece, but there is gold leaf as well, and ink. So it's acrylic, gold leaf, ink, and every piece that I complete now, I put a faux encaustic glaze on it afterwards, and it really brings a lot of depth and texture to each piece.
That's interesting.
It's really fun. I wanted to do encaustic, and then I talked to other artist friends that do encaustic, and I thought I don't want to have high heat or torch in my studio. It's off my bedroom, so I didn't want to deal with that, and I didn't want to have to just have the toxins that come with the melting the wax and the whole thing. So I researched how to do faux encaustic, and once I did that, it was like, oh my Lord, it opened the doors for these kind of pieces. And it's just so fun because even when I'm done painting, I still don't know what it's going to turn out to be like until I put that finishing touch, because I'll do cuts of color in the gel. And you can see in this one right here, the desert scene, there's some a little smattering of ochre in the clouds. And that primarily was not painted beforehand. I manipulated it with the gel. So and this one has rose gold, gold leaf, and ink, as well as the acrylic.
Just a quick question. Are these on wood panels or paper?
Yes, wood panel.
Yeah.
But I did experiment. I wanted to know if I could do it on canvas as well. I was working on a project for a workshop, and it works just as well. I prefer the look on a panel because, like, my large pieces, these are small, these are only 12 by 12s, but my larger pieces, they're, I mean, 24 by 36, some have been larger than that, and I don't frame them. These are frameable. I put floater frames on them. And the wood is just perfect for me. I really like that look. And then I can glaze on the larger pieces. I can paint the sides and glaze the sides as well. So it looks like a complete, completed piece.
Interesting.
And this one is just an ocean scene. And this little guy is in an international show right now, online international, as well as, let's see, it's another, I've been going crazy submitting, and I can't think right off the other one. Aquarium 2024 through Biafran, a Canadian. You guys might all know all this stuff already. I'm kind of new to the submitting to the shows on Cafe. I mean, I've been doing shows for years because I also co-founded an art group, Redondo Beach Art Group, in 2003. And it's still active. We're still involved. We still do shows in the South Bay area. But as far as submitting on Cafe and those, those apps or those sites, that is a new thing for me. And it's been really exciting because I've been in a show in New York and as well as the South Bay area. So it's been a lot of fun.
Good.
Oh.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Karen Morgenstern.
I'm here. I'm also thrilled to be a member of this group, and it's so funny. There are snippets of what previous women have said that like came right out of things that were on my mind. If you notice how different these three paintings are, my biggest challenge in life has always been to focus. I have trouble committing to one thing, and it's reflected in my artwork. I've been painting again for the last 7 years. I have had two very different careers. The first was in film production, which I hear there's a few other of you that have worked in the film industry. And then in my 50s, I decided, because I had children, that I needed to do something more meaningful. So I became a credentialed teacher librarian, which is so completely different, but I started to fall in love with children's literature. And always, though, in the backdrop was art and color. I'm hoping that I'm speaking in a flowing manner, but I call this time, in fact, my website is called Act 3, because art has been a constant. I grew up looking at color paint chips in a mom and pop. My parents owned a mom and pop paint store. And so I grew up, after preschool, I would come and spend the rest of the day in their store. And I think that, well, and is particularly in this painting right there, which is called Hiding from Saul, a reference to King David. I was fascinated with color. I love color. And even in my two previous careers, where I was not designing at all, I was always looking at museums. And I have an art history degree from Santa Barbara. I was also a studio art major, but I just couldn't focus on studio art. I took the safer way and thought I should become more academic. My first job out of college was with Charles and Ray Eames in Venice. For 6 months, I was a typist. But again, I was surrounded and stimulated with amazing, like the pinnacle of creativity. I've been painting full-time for the last 2 years. I did leave my librarian job to paint full-time. And I don't want to say I'm all over the place. I don't think that's accurate. I am having such joy experimenting and painting portraits. I'm fascinated with portrait painting. My love of color field and my favorite artist in college was Helen Frankenthaler, which in that next painting, so this shows you where I was at. In high school, my favorite artist was Botticelli. College, Frankenthaler. And then since college, I have done deep dives on everything from Van Gogh to Wayne Thiebaud to abstract expressionism and back again. This one, I did just, I think just not even a year ago. I took a photograph of a curb in our neighborhood that had deteriorating concrete. And I never thought that I would be a super realistic painter, but the curb looks quite a bit, or this looks quite a bit like that photograph if you cock your head and look at it horizontally. I never thought that I would like neutrals, and somehow a few years ago, I couldn't stop mixing taupe. And I got fascinated. Actually, I wrote a children's book that's not published about unusual color, because again, I have this fascination with color. And I learned that taupe is actually the French word for the little animal, a mole, M-O-L-E. So this shows you, yeah, a taupe in French is a mole. And I've gone into, I love thinking about the different nuances of color, from taupe to mushroom to stone to slate. I seem to do a deep dive every time I turn around. I'm going off in another direction, and I just think it's part of my personality. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to now dedicate my Act 3 to painting.
Yay.
Wonderful. Great, thank you. Kelly, who do I have? Kelly Story?
Yeah, it's Stolting, and I'm here.
Stolting, I'm sorry, this is not, okay.
That's okay. So like June Wiley, my first part of my life was not art, although I would dive in, well, I do little hobbyist things like faux finishing and furniture painting and stuff. But this latter part of my life, I'm calling myself an artist. And even though I work part-time as an administrator, yeah, I really cherish the time that I spend doing art, and it is a wonderful thing to do. I think it's a good way to grow older, keep your mind going, keep your hands, keep your creativity going. So I'm a student of Ruth Ellen Hogue, and I, before that, was taking adult ed classes through City College here in Santa Barbara. And I started plein air painting. So I will do plein air painting, but I think I'm more excited by figurative work. And mostly in oils. Everything you're seeing here is in oils, but I'm also doing watercolor. And what I'm looking forward to is getting looser, more abstraction, and creating a series of paintings, having a theme, and then really working on that and kind of exhausting that. I am so honored, I meant to say at the beginning, so honored and thrilled to be a part of this group. I can already tell I'm inspired by all this art that I'm seeing. And thank you so much for making me a part of it.
Oh, well, we're thrilled to have you.
Thanks.
Laura Colling was unable to join us today, and I don't have a statement for her, but I do have a couple of things that she submitted on her application. She is members of LA Art Association, IAA USA. She has currently, and I think the closing reception is this evening, she is part of the USA exhibition of the 22nd Japan International Art Exchange. So these works that she submitted here, I believe, are in the Japan International Exchange.
Wow.
Which is very exciting. She is also part of the Brea Arts and Cultural Committee. So that's really all I have on her. But as you can see, she's also a colorist and loves line and movement. And so, yeah, this is her work, and she will now be a part of our group too. So it's exciting. Okay, Lee Zeldin.
Hi, I'm new to all this, and from high school on, my parents found art study frivolous. I grew up in a family of physicists, molecular biochemists, etc., and they found what I did was cute. At any point, I did not have any support from them, and being the child of the Depression era, a lot of insecurities, I just went into the business world, got myself a job, and had such a busy career, a 24/7 kind of job, that in between high school and in retirement, I wasn't able to do. It was exhausting to do anything more than than that. So I am so enthralled to be with all these talented people. And the materials I've used, anywhere from, I figured what I needed to learn was a skill set, how to draw. and to launch myself from there. I love abstract, I love color, I do that in addition to, but my home base is doing figures and portraiture and capturing the essence of something, not just a drawing up. I like to get a likeness, but a presence and a living thing. The gentleman on the top there is actually a stock person at the local Rouse. And I noticed when people came in there, they didn't even notice the other workers there. They just found them, go back and get me this or whatever. And I saw these faces and I would say, may I take your picture? And they would say yes. If they said yes, I would take their picture and I'd come back the next week and give them a copy of their portrait. And I have a whole collection of them now. And this is one of them, one of the gentlemen. And they were, some of them used them as Christmas presents and everything, made me feel really good. But this is graphite. And the one beneath it is another study. And I forget and the other one is a portrait in acrylics. And I work in pastel, acrylics, watercolor. I've done sculpture. I've done 3-dimensional. Behind me is a mobile I did. And I've taken some of the mobiles I've done and put them in motion, put music behind it. And I call my guest bathroom the guest bathroom studio, art studio. And I've done short little videos of my mobiles in motion. So the gambit, I find everything is open to me. I haven't categorized myself yet. And I think I'm just putting my toe in the water. And compared to all the talent around here, it's somewhat, I don't want to use the word intimidating. It's a challenge, let's say. So thank you very much. I'm honored to be part of this.
Your work is beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're thrilled. Lorraine Kaczynski is unable to join us as well. And so she sent in her, there we are. My name is Lorraine Kaczynski. I've been painting for about 15 years. I have had no formal art training and have dabbled in various crafts for as long as I can remember. I enjoy finding classes and workshops to learn different techniques. Before I painted, I worked as a scrapbook consultant. I've enjoyed making handmade journals where I would document family history. These journals became a canvas for my paintings and collage work. Transitioning to painting felt natural, and I discovered that I am most comfortable using acrylic paint in an abstract form. Collage is one of my favorite mediums, so I try to incorporate it in my work. I have submitted my work to shows for the past and have been lucky enough to have my own exhibit in Santa Monica for 5 weeks. Since COVID, I have felt quite disconnected from the art community, and I look forward to getting back to meeting new people with the same interest as me. The blue painting, I think that's the first one there. 3 is a crowd. I submitted to Women Painters West and it is painted in acrylic and textured paste. Once the base was down, I found that I could make abstract figures with an oil-based pencil. And then she says, thank you for accepting me into your group.
Wow.
Interesting. Patty Kaplan.
Yes. Hi, I'm really also inspired by the work that I'm seeing today. A little not overwhelmed, but just maybe a little intimidated. But I'm really excited to be here. I also belong to the LA Art Association, and I do other.
Wait, hang on, sorry about that. I don't know where it went. Hang on.
No problem.
Shoot. Okay, let me just go back to this. Sorry, gosh.
That's all right.
Don't worry.
Are you guys seeing it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I don't know what I clicked, but something weird.
There we are.
Get down there.
I'm
Redo.
in can do this at all.
I know, me too.
Sorry.
Okay.
go ahead.
There we
No
are.
worries.
Wonderful.
I also do ceramics and ceramics, figure painting, which is also both abstract, and I've done some watercolor too. I begin my paintings not really having any idea where they're going to go. I just start with putting many layers of paint down, some shapes, but mostly just underpainting. And then at some point, I decide that I will do more deliberate mark making. And I take that as something that I react to. It gives me a sense of where to go to the next level. I do this many times. Sometimes it's weeks, sometimes it's days, but I go back and forth, and obviously color is one of my passions. And my drawings, Egon Schiele is one of my loves, and this middle one here was inspired by Franz Klein. I try to look at other artists and get inspired by their work. And that's one of the reasons I'm really excited about being here, is I love to talk to other people and learn about their process and what their technique is. I do get frustrated, but my goal is to continue with whatever medium. This is all acrylic, and working towards one of those moments that are kind of an aha moment, and that gets me into continuing. I was lucky I had one in my figure drawing, my abstract figure drawing last week. I take several classes a week, and one of my goals right now is that I'm getting a new studio, and I seem to have trouble painting on my own. So I'd love to talk to other women about that. For some reason, I get more inspired by a group of women, or artists, I should say. And I really would like to be able to work on my own and be inspired to do that as well, because I would paint more often, as obviously. So that's really my art.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Sasha Phillips.
I'm here. I hope that you can hear me fine. I'm sorry for appearing twice on the screen, one in picture and another one in audio, but it's really the only way I can tackle Zoom today. So a little bit of a background. I am originally from Moscow, Russia. I've been in the United States for over 30 years, but I did finish a very traditional art academy in Moscow. And so this has sort of informed my visual language. I am very much inspired by the masterpieces of the old masters and the visual language that they employed. I've painted ever since I remember myself as a child. My grandfather taught me how to paint in watercolors, a little bit in oils, and so he was my very first mentor. He, just like I, had a second career, although he treated arts very seriously and considered himself to be an artist, but he was also a medical doctor. He was a surgeon. And so I think along with his love for arts, I also maybe soaked up this idea that, hey, you can be an artist, you can also do some other things as well. My initial education is in fine arts. I have a bachelor's degree from Shepherd University. I mentioned the Art Academy. I have a master's degree from the University of Maryland. And I was trained as a studio artist. When I went there in, I guess it was 2000 when I graduated, the art that I was producing was not something that the professors were looking for. They were looking for a little bit more of an experimentation, something that wasn't figurative, something that wasn't representational. And so I did the best I could to earn the degree, but at the same time, I still kept coming back to my style in my own sort of narrative format. Following that, and following starting a family and having 4 children, I decided that on my own, I could be a starving artist all I wanted 4 kids and the starving artist did not go together very, very well. So I did go to law school, and that sort of became my, career number 2. That initially took up all of my time, but slowly but surely, I came back to art as a parallel career and was able to sort of merge the two together. I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'm going to share an article that actually just came out today on what that looks like in practice. And this is something that I think a couple of you mentioned here too. I think June and Kelly talked about art therapy and talked about sort of bettering your cognitive ability, keeping your mind sharp with arts and everything like that. And so I noticed throughout my legal practice that whenever I was completely overwhelmed and stressed out and everything else, I turned to art to, again, use as a language, which I have done throughout. When I came to the United States, I didn't speak any English. And now it's the trick to get me to shut up. Back then, I could only say like, hi, my name is, and that was about it. So I used art as my language. Through college, I got a scholarship. I had to maintain a certain GPA. So, okay, what did I do? I painted pictures, and that got me from my first year while I was still learning English to sort of get me going in all the other subjects. In my law career, I started using art as a language as well. And so any kind of traumatic case, I had a client, for example, murdered, it was a PFA client. I was protecting her from her abusive boyfriend. And unfortunately, the circumstances were that she didn't make it. So I painted her portrait. I couldn't talk about it. It was too painful. I was crying every single time I, even brought it up. And slowly but surely, I was able to work through that. And so I also started turning this to others who might have been experiencing the same thing and using art as that. I use art as an advocacy tool for my clients. One of the ones you might have heard about is Mark Fogel. He's currently being detained in the Russian Federation for bringing less than an ounce of medical marijuana with him. He's got a sentence of 14 years. I don't know if I can show him in the non-talking picture. This is my office, by the way, so you can see art all around. But that's the piece that I did for him. So the pieces that you see very quickly on the screen, first one is a portrait of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, of course. She was the reason I went into law, because when I came to the United States in '93, she also went up to the Supreme Court. And so this was a kind of like an indication to me that a woman can do amazing things within the legal profession. There is a narrative and the symbolism to every single piece. What this was about is when she passed away, I was very sad. And so I did this little fundraising action where I painted her portrait. The seal of the Supreme Court behind her is meant to look like a halo. And so is the reflective, sort of like the crown shape above her head in the reflection of, the window behind her and everything. That's actually painted on. That's not a bad picture. And what I did, I wrote her quotes. She's holding a pen. And so for anybody who would want to print, I wrote their favorite quote by RBG on that print and gave them the print in exchange for a donation to an organization that supports women's rights. The second one down is the portrait of my beautiful, beautiful daughter, who sat for me on many occasions. And this one, her colors, the dress, everything has a lot of personal symbolism. To me, all of the things that I put into I love you to her, they're all painted in here. How much I admire her personality and her love for finer things and everything else. And so sometimes it's difficult to put into words, but it's easier for me to put into a painting. And then the final image is of my youngest daughter. This one, she's my eternal sunshine. And so this one is just that. It's called July Sunshine. Her birthday is in July. But it also has a lot of symbolic images. When she hit puberty and was going through a really tough time in high school with all sorts of issues, all of a sudden she turned from this beautiful, bubbly child into a teen who was struggling to find her own path, and she was finding, her own language issues and gender issues and everything else. And so I sort of painted that. We sort of did it together. And I painted this together with her to work through those. With that, I want to say that I am very grateful to be included in this group. The talent, the work ethic, the dedication to fine art, to creativity, to just going with whatever it is that's in your heart that I've seen so far, and I'm sure I will see following this, is just tremendous. It's awe-inspiring. It's plainly inspiring. I'm very grateful to be in this group, and then also the organization itself. You guys are awesome. I mean, when I when I looked at your mission statement, when I looked at the website initially, I said, no way these wonderful women are going to want me to be among you, simply because like you have such wonderful presence. And you know, I don't know if I can contribute in any way. I mentioned that I'm a lawyer, so I'm happy to do, you know, workshops, IP rights, whatever it is. However you can use me, please do. I'd love to contribute. But I'm just looking forward to making friends with all of you and being within this wonderful, wonderful group. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Susan Whitley is not here, and she sent me a statement as well. And she says, good afternoon, fellow artists. I'm thrilled to join Women Painters West. I look forward to getting to know all of you and your artwork. Unfortunately, I had a trip already planned this week and I was unable to join your meetings. My apologies. Conceptually, my current artwork is mainly based in two themes: the power of nature and the human emotional experience. The imagery we take in when viewing a landscape, both immediately and afterwards, in our memory, it affects our state of mind. Additionally, I am fascinated by the emotions in a historical sense. A thought such as the following runs through my mind when viewing a landscape for my work. Quote, has a woman who lived centuries ago viewed dramatic clouds over this very same rugged mountain range and similarly felt the sense of awe and replace her anxiety, unquote. Previously, I have lived abroad in Sweden, UK, and in Costa Rica. The scenery and emotional memories from these places have a still strong impact on my work. My most recent mixed media paintings, I especially enjoy using vintage papers as part of my work. It adds a historical component to each piece and a connection to another life. And that was her statement.
Oh.
I guess you can see the collaged paperworks in there. So that was Susan, and then one more, another Susan, Susan Karodi, did not send me
It's pronounced Karhudi.
Karhudi, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
She did not send a statement, but this is part of her application. She has a Master's of Art Education from CSUN. She is an art educator and an art therapist since 2002. In the last 3 years, she has shown internationally at Tokyo at the Museum of Nagasaki Prefectural Museum of Art in 2021, 22, and 23. The Nutra Museum in 2021. 825 Gallery, 2023, the Makery, again, 825, Range Projects, and Beverly Hills Art Show. She has, what else? That's really all she's given me.
So I can tell you a little bit about.
Oh, perfect. You know her.
Yeah.
Good.
About Susan. She, let me start my video. Okay. She is also part of Southern California Women's Caucus for Art. She also does Lila, which is a nonprofit organization that has doctors that do art, and they have international exhibitions and so forth. She runs the Artists of the Valley group, which is an offshoot of SWCA, and is just a worker bee when it comes to promoting other artists, creating wonderful arts communities, you know, with women. And her work is phenomenal. She not only does paintings, but she does 3D work as well. But she is phenomenal. She entered before and was not selected. She was you know, pretty heartbroken about that. I said, do it again. So she did. And I am so excited that she will be joining us because you will absolutely love her. She is an amazing artist and a wonderful person.
Terrific. Well, thank you for that, because yes, I didn't have any of that. And then I think our last accepted artist this year is it's Yulia. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yulia Gurk.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Go ahead.
Well, my name is Yulia, and I was born in Ukraine. I came to United States 26 years ago. I was only drawing as a child. I never actually did have any degree in art. I am a nurse. Been a nurse forever, and actually I am double nurse because I did complete my degree in Ukraine and in United States. I got a master degree in nursing education. So I currently work in rehab, first physical rehab after strokes and car accidents and heart attacks and all of that. And I had actually sickness last year, and so that's prompted me to try to do something, you know, aside of my work. And I decided to go to art school online, which I went to Milan Art Institute. It's a year program, and I wanted to learn how to do oils, how to paint oils, because I actually did some acrylic paintings, like abstracts, just for my home decor, but I did not consider that as a, you know, art pieces. So I really wanted to learn how to do oils, and I actually started painting oils just last October. So this is my first 3 pieces, actually.
Wow.
So yeah, so I just want to discover more about figurative painting. I'm really fascinated with you know, women figures mostly, you know, because I am a woman, so I want to discover that.
As the rest
So,
of us
but
are.
I'm in the beginning of my journey. Yep.
Wow. Well, this is very exciting. Liz, I just wanted to say one real quick thing here, and then I'll turn it back to you. I find it fascinating to listen to everybody's just their off the cuff or prepared information about how different all of us are and the different environments we come from. But what really is the tying knot is art and creativity, whether we are in completely different industries and or jobs, but art is what we do and who we are. And, you know, I just, it's very exciting, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this as well. You guys are terrific, and it's a good thing. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
This was wonderful, you guys. It's just so exciting to see all the art that's coming in and to meet all of you guys. I am very excited for this incoming group, this incoming class. You guys are truly amazing. It's like every year we get better and better. So congratulations to all of you and to all of the new board members as well.
Thank
Couple
you.
of things before we leave. Don't forget that for those who want to go to Descanso Gardens tomorrow for a docent tour, there are still a couple of spots left. It doesn't matter if you are a member or not, you would still need to pay because we've hired a docent for this. We have an art share coming up at Karen Alexander's house on, I think it's a week from this Sunday. Maybe it's 2 weeks from this Sunday. And that's a great place to meet other artists in a small, more intimate group. There will be another reminder going out again. I don't have my calendar with me, so I can't tell you the exact date, but it will be going out. And those are great places to meet people on a person-to-person level. And let's see.
I would like to ask, make a statement or ask something. I'm Lee, one of the new members, and I have health and physical limitations. So my presence will be normally online in Zoom or whatever, and I hope that is can continue to participate that way. My presence in person is a difficult chore for me, so I don't know if there are other people in that situation, but I wanted to make that clear that it's not my reluctance to participate. Okay.
There are other people in
Lee,
that situation.
we're so glad actually.
For distance and other reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the benefits that came out of COVID, there are a couple, is that it really forced us into using Zoom to meet up on a regular basis. And it allows people who are not only physically unable to move about easily, but geographically, like we have a member that lives in this new group in Pennsylvania, and we can get speakers from all over. So don't worry, we're just so happy that you're here and part of us, and we will see you at whatever meetings we have online. And if you can join us in person, that would be great. And if you can't, we welcome you in digital land. So it's all good. It's all good.
Adele has her hand up.
I have a question.
Okay, hang on, Nancy.
Adele had her hand up first.
I didn't raise my hand. I just barged in.
Okay, but we're at our limit. We've got 15 people for tomorrow. So
we are at our limit.
Yeah.
So got it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Thank
you.
So
Adele, you had people I didn't have?
Well, I can have 15, and Gloria Cassidy is coming with Zoni. So that brings me to 15.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Nancy and then Judith. Nancy.
Yeah. And me too.
First of all, I want to congratulate all of the new members, and you're all amazing, and we're so glad to have you. And yes, Zoom is just great, Lee. Come to as many meetings as you can on Zoom. And then the other thing is our board had the opportunity at our meeting last week to thank Liz for her 3 years of dedication to this group. And since this is the last meeting that you will be presiding over as president, I want to take the opportunity to thank you again while a lot of our members are here. And you've just been the best. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
She's not going anywhere. She's just not president.
Thanks, Dallas.
Right.
That's been amazing.
Oh, thank you all so much. And I know a lot of you chipped in for my beautiful necklace that I'm wearing. And it has been a real delight to be president. And I know that Jenny is going to be an awesome president. And yeah, I'm not going anywhere. And
oh dear, I
they
don't
all
think
tend to hang out. So thank you so much, Nancy. I appreciate that. And to all of you, you guys, it's been a wonderful group to lead. So happy to pass on the baton. So, okay.
Irene and then Ellen.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say ditto, Nancy, that was perfect what you said. And congratulations to all the new members. If any of you missed any information, please, I know Arlene will appreciate this, check our website. It's all the information. All the information is on our website. So welcome, everybody.
Yeah. Judith.